Hey, what's going on, everybody? And welcome to Legacy's Journey, where we talk about creating what outlives you. I'm your host, Cameron Williams, owner of Kinley Consulting, where we focus on strategic financial growth for marketing agencies so that they can live the dream life they deserve and not be a slave to their business. And we do that through CFO and consulting services with, of course, some tax strategy. Now, I told y'all, season 2, we're doing it big, right? So I had to go start doing some more networking, meeting some more people, shaking some more hands. And so this guy, I think we sat next to each other at this conference. Next thing you know, he goes on stage. He's doing all this stuff with AI, and he was able to do stuff like 10 minutes before he walked up. It was amazing. So I was like, bro, we gotta link up. You gotta come on a podcast. He wanted to do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, Jeff J. Hunter is here live on the pod. What's going on?
It's my pleasure. Yeah, we sat together on a boat too. Not a whole lot of people can say that.
That was also an interesting experience to be on a boat in the middle of the ocean, hoping that pirates do not just pull up on the boat. So yeah, that was real.
We had such a good time too, and you blew my mind actually. Just talking about different avenues of, especially for me because when I first started this agency 10 years ago, I really have two agencies, a marketing agency and a virtual staffing agency. And I didn't know anything. And I remember I think it was 2015. No. It was like 2017. It was like whatever the first year was that I made $1 million. And then I was still not an S Corp. And when that tax bill hit, I was like, holy, I got to take a loan to pay my taxes.
Oh no. Okay, wait. See, now he getting into the good stuff. All right, pause. You guys started with telling your name of the company, what you do. You got to introduce us right. You jumping into the good stuff already.
All right. Well, we got a juicy teaser. So, first off, an honor to be here, and I'm just super blessed to have incredible people like you in my network. But again, my name's Jeff J. Hunter. I'm the crazy guy who started this company called VA Staffer. It's a virtual assistant agency based in the Philippines. We have over 100 executive assistants in the Philippines. That's what we specialize in. So basically, any founder, leader, most of our clients are like digital marketing agency owners, hence why I'm on your show. And we pre-train them to basically handle the day-to-day so that they can accomplish the dream you just said, basically, to never have to worry about their emails, their inboxes, all that kind of stuff, to have a sidekick that actually does stuff for you so you can actually go on a boat and the business doesn't crumble. So that's business number one. And now, of course, with AI, they're getting even crazier trained and they can do even more stuff because they're based in the Philippines. We used to never have them do like social media content, marketing emails. I would never have a Filipino VA do marketing, but now with AI, the language barrier is completely gone. As a matter of fact, my latest article I wrote for entrepreneur.com, I have a column there, is how the language barrier is no more. And how AI basically removes the language barrier. You can hire people all over the world in the talent pool, and you don't have to worry about that accent anymore. So that's one. The second one is this, Savage Marketer. So funny story. The reason I started my marketing agency, so purely organic. I don't do ads, so I'm not competing with you guys. I'm purely organic. The reason I started marketing was because when I left the entrepreneurial world, I was 20 years in IT and project management. I was working for a Fortune 500 company, Philips Electronics, when I started my side hustle, VA Staffer. And in 2016, on Leap Day, February 29th of 2016, I decided I wanted to go and do my own thing and take what I've learned building remote teams and do it for other people with my executive assistant company. Well, I actually fell completely flat on my face. In my first year, I made like negative $50,000. So I went from $150,000 salary, W-2, to a negative $50,000 Schedule C, right? It was rough, super rough. And I decided, well, I should probably learn how to, market myself and market the business. So I got really good at marketing and started my own agency helping other people do marketing. And now I've got to work with some really awesome people like Gary Brecka, Grant Cardone, Ryan Levesque, helping people build brands online. And I'm really good at copy. I started becoming obsessed with copywriting. So basically, I just started helping people write viral content. And now I learned how to get AI to write viral content. So boom, that's where I'm at today.
Ooh, okay, there's a lot in there. All right. For all our regular listeners, you know the drill. We're taking notes. Okay. VA staffer, first company. Second company, this was after you were an IT and project manager. For how many years did you do that? You said 20?
So yeah, I mean, basically my very first job at 12 years old, I wasn't even getting paid. My grandpa used to drop me off at a computer store. So I've been in IT my entire life. My last real job, was an IT project manager for Philips Electronics. That was, and I ended in 2016. So I've been fully fledged and committed to doing my own thing since 2016.
All right, so that's like 8 years in the game. So you've seen a lot of marketing changes even in just 8 years. Yeah. All right, there's so much to go through right now. Okay, let's try to start it from the top. All right, so first off, tell us about that transition from going to working for a company, making a great salary, to, like you said, first you're doing VA staffer, even though this was kind of on the side still, but it was still doing something. Like, what was it like to make that transition from I'm working for somebody to where I'm the one calling the shots and I'm the owner?
That was really tough. I always say I'm definitely not the most qualified person to be the CEO of this company. I'm just the crazy dude that started it, right? I just was on a mission and I had a side hustle, right? And in 2015, so I started this really in 2014, but in 2015, I kind of landed my first big client, and it was a company called Domo.com, and it's a dashboard tech company based out of what they call the Silicon Slopes in Utah, and they actually hired me to build a team of 12 virtual assistants for them to basically start scraping the contact information on LinkedIn for the Fortune 500 CEOs, VPs, CMOs, all the C-suites, basically. And it was successful. You know, I wasn't really profitable per se, but in my mind, I thought that one day I could be profitable. And when I left my job, funny story, looking back, I probably should have built more of a nest egg because I didn't have one. So imagine this, you're a 30-year-old something man with a 3-year-old kid and a wife. And I left my cushy $150K salary job and I had to move in with my parents for like 3 months because I had nothing. I really left with nothing. I left because they didn't treat me the way that I should have. Even though I was a top 5 project manager in the company, I was recognized 3 quarters in a row. I was mentoring 6 project managers when I left. I had 6 people that I was literally teaching how to do my job when I left. And they try to do a bunch of shady stuff. Like, for example, I was an hourly employee, and then they gave me a 25% raise and put me on a salary. I was like, wow, that's great. Yeah, but they're making me work as a project manager at least 3 to 4 hours of overtime a day. So that's 32 hours of overtime I'm not even getting a week or a pay period, basically, right? And I'm like, hold on a second, something ain't right here. And I got my first paycheck, and bada bing, bada boom, it was less. Even after my raise, it was less because I wasn't getting paid time and a half. And I was like, that was when it dawned on me. I was like, wait, these guys didn't give me a raise and a promotion to project manager 3. By the way, the last thing they did before I quit was they promoted me to project manager III, Roman numeral 3. Like I was like some big shot over there. And then I found out on my paycheck, I was getting paid less. So once I figured out that they didn't care about me, I was like, you know what? It's worth the risk at this point. And they also messed up, see, because I looked at the state of Washington's website, which is where I was living at the time. And on the state of Washington's unemployment website, it said that if your employer reduces your hours by 25% or more, or reduces your pay by 25% or more, you're actually entitled to unemployment.
Oh man.
So boop, that was my parachute. I was like, well, I'm still going to get paid like 75% of my salary.
Right.
And I can at least get that and try to build my business. The business did negative $50,000. Thank God I had a little bit of a salary left over, right? So for any of you listening right now who have a job and you're like, you know what, I want to do this, like save up some money before you do that so that you don't have to go live with your parents at 30 years old. All right? Or 40 or 50 or wherever you're at.
Yeah. Okay. So we got business one. All right, first year was negative. Now we're starting to creep on up there. All right, now this second company comes in February 2016. So you decide, hey, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to start with my copy, etc. Tell us, what is it like to balance two companies? Because I think right now a lot of people think like that's the sexy thing, right? Like, I want to buy this. I literally just talked to a client this morning that's like, we're thinking about acquiring another agency. Now they're just going to absorb it, but you're literally trying to manage two different types of companies at the same time. Tell us, what is that like? How does it feel to balance it? How are you structuring your days, etc.?
I am so fortunate that the very first company I decided to start was a staffing agency, right? Because, you know, VA Staffer is literally a virtual assistant staffing agency. That's what VA Staffer stands for. So building that and saying, you know what, I really want to start and take the marketing, because basically I got to the point to where VA Staffer was growing on its own. It didn't really need me. You know, I did proper SEO and stuff that I had to learn, you know, crazily enough. I mean, I was broke, right? So the one thing you can do when you're broke is SEO. You know, like you can write. I was hiring some writers and, you know, it was working. And SEO was going up, and I worked on some different collaborations with like virtualassistant.com, which is a review site. And I invited him to come and review my VAs. I gave him a VA for free to test out for a month. And, you know, he wrote an awesome review. And, you know, so like I was doing that, like that was always my job, and will pretty much always be my job, is to be the marketer. So it was a vertical transition. And I think what you're looking at, just like what you said, when an agency acquires or absorbs another agency, it's a complete vertical integration, because they're just offering the same thing they already did. They're just acquiring new clients and customers, right? So, and potentially team members and people that are servicing it, right? So they're really acquiring another agency is easy. Starting something on a different horizontal is different, right? So there is a vertical piece of it, which is these are clients of mine that I serve are entrepreneurs, online business owners, a lot of digital marketing agencies. So I already know that these guys need help with marketing. So it was a perfect vertical for me, because as I come in and I say, why does somebody need a virtual assistant? Think about it, Cameron. Why would someone need a virtual assistant? They are too busy, right? They are in growth phase. They probably are struggling working on their own brand, their own marketing, right? They need help. People come to me because they don't have enough time in the day. So, matter of fact, I just had a meeting earlier with my marketing director in my company, and he was like, "Hey, why don't we? Because we're already working on our Black Friday campaign. Think about that. We're in August, and we're already thinking about November. Most people don't even know what's going on next week, especially agency owners, because they're too busy worrying about their clients. They ain't worried about their sales, right? It's like that. It's like that age-old fable of the shoemaker's kids who have no shoes. So what ends up happening is, so to answer your question, the vertical is I already knew that people were struggling with time management. What I'm really doing is selling leverage, right? I'm helping people get more out of their day by having somebody help them do that. So VA Staffer is a support company. We're helping support people to free up their time to focus on the more valuable time. Well, guess what? What I learned was that most people, even when they're freed up and they have more valuable time, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to create a good marketing campaign. They don't know how. It's so funny because a lot of agency owners too, they suck at actually doing marketing for themselves. They're great for helping their clients do marketing.
That's
so it was definitely a challenge. And the balance is that you have to share resources. That's the key. All right. A lot of digital agency owners are struggling because they have a few people on their team. Maybe they're using freelancers. They don't have people that are committed and dedicated to growing the agency, let alone building a new project with them. And to be able to do something new, to do something fresh, you have to build the core foundation of what you're building first so you can add to it. And the problem is a lot of people, they try to build an add-on, but their business foundation's on quicksand. So as they start trying to build more things, the foundation sinks out from underneath them. So the real answer to your question is you got to have a strong, sturdy foundation and people you can trust to help you build whatever you want to build.
Okay. So in your case, the two businesses happen to kind of align and work together, go in the same direction. But to your point, though, still only so many hours in a day. So you said you have one company kind of running on its own. Explain for us, because there's a lot of people struggling with that, like you mentioned. What were some of the things that you were able to instill or put in place so that the company could work on its own for you to even think of starting Savage?
That's like its own podcast. So here we go. All right, I'll break it down. And it's so funny because, like I said, remember, I'm not the most qualified person to be the CEO. I had to grow into the role, right? I had to grow into it.
There's nothing wrong with that. We all got to grow.
So I'm going to tell you the hard way I learned. So I have hired, okay, get ready for this, guys, for the hundreds, 150-ish people on my team right now, right? And I'd say 100 of those people that work for me are actually working for clients, okay? We only offer two things. We have full-time and part-time VAs, 8 hours a day, 4 hours a day. We also have what is called a creative team. The creative team are video editors, graphic designers, web developers, okay? Right? That's a smaller team. That's only 16 people. So 16 people work directly for me, but my clients leverage them on an hourly basis. And then I have my internal staff, which is about maybe another 25. And then I have 100 people that are servicing my clients. So what I had to find out the hard way is that who's managing the internal business. And one of the things I will tell you right now that I wish I knew is you can't have more than one person doing a job or it won't get done because they won't know who's responsible. And you don't have the accountability because someone's going to say, oh, I thought so-and-so was doing it. Oh, I thought so-and-so was doing it. So no one did it. Okay. So I have a leadership team and my company is divided into a couple segments. Okay. This is really important. Number one, sales. Who's doing sales? Okay. By the way, that should be the last thing that you delegate is sales. That's your job until you find someone to do it. Okay. But sales should be the one thing that you do. Sales and marketing should be the last thing you delegate. What you need to do is look at what are the internal things. So for example, client onboarding. Who's doing your client onboarding? Are you doing the client onboarding? I have someone, her name's Isabel. She's in charge of that. She literally onboards all of our clients. We have a sales team. Okay, we have Julio and Nicole. Julio is the point man. He's responsible. Nicole is the sidekick. Most of my leaders have their own sidekick, and it's almost a backup system. But Julio knows that he's in charge, not Nicole. He's in charge. Nicole is the assistant. So when someone books a call with us to do a strategy call, right, where they literally put a 35 to, let's say, an hour call, depending on how long it goes, and and I've trained them how to deep dive, find out what are the issues they're going through. They actually do something super valuable on the call, which is they run through what their day looks like. And we start finding out by the end of the call, they already have a list of things to delegate to their virtual assistant, right? We put that process in place. And the cool part about that is that list gets handed over to the onboarding person. So the onboarding person gets the call. There's a handoff between sales and onboarding. Says, hey, this is the type of VA that this person needs. This is the type of tasks they need. And then by the time that the onboarding person comes in, they're actually helping create SOPs with the client live on that call and introducing the VA, right? So I don't have to do the sales. I don't have to do the onboarding. Now we have other leadership roles. We have a person who does the payroll. Okay. We have a person who we have what we call squad leaders. Squad leaders are checking to see what everyone's doing, looking at their time cards, making sure that they're efficient, looking at client feedback, how they're doing. We have a process in place to review new hires after 30 days, 90 days, and 90 days, the client is involved. We say, hey, how's your VA? How can we be doing better? And we have performance incentives based on these milestones. Sales gets paid incentives based on how many sales they get. In onboarding gets incentive based on how good that VA is doing after 90 days. And obviously the length, and I also give them a second bonus on the anniversary date of a client. So our team is heavily incentivized by keeping clients happy because they get a friggin' chunk of change, in tens of thousands of dollars for keeping clients on a yearly basis. So this is the part that is, if there's going to be a part that's going to turn into like a clip that you advertise it's going to be right now, this podcast. I'm at a point now to where I work 15 minutes a day on my VA staffer company. It's a call from 9 o'clock to 9:15 every morning with my 10 leadership team. Okay. There's 5 leaders and then they all have an assistant. And they just tell me if there's any issues that are going on that need my attention, or if they have any questions, or if there's a monetary thing that they need my approval for. For example, I think they should give this person a raise. I think we should give this client a refund. I think we should do whatever X things that require the money require my permission. So outside of that 15 minutes a day, I do nothing for that business. So every day I wake up, I do my call, see if there's any issues they need help with. And I get to spend the rest of my day on marketing.
That was intense.
As a matter of fact, I was on a call with, it's Dan Martell, I think. He's the guy who made Buy Back Your Time, that book.
Tell me why everybody wants me to read that book.
It's a great book. I should buy one for all my clients. But Buy Back Your Time, I was on a call with him because he was speaking at a mastermind that I'm in. And he was like, hey, what's everybody's problem going on here? And everybody's typing their problems like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. I don't have reliable things like that. And then for me, I actually wrote that, I don't have any of the problems that they have. And it intrigued him on the chat. He actually called me out on the call. He's like, what do you mean you don't have that problem? I'm like, well, my business pretty much runs itself and I spend 15 minutes a day. The only thing I really do for my business is tell people about the VAs that I have, and then the whole thing is just, they go to an inbound sales calls with Julio, the onboarding gets handed off. Like my only job is to tell people about it. He was very intrigued. And I told him, I said, if anything, I actually feel a lack of purpose in that business now, because when I do randomly show up on a call or something, they always look at me like, why are you here? Like they're frustrated that I'm showing up to work. Right? And it intrigued him. And like, I believe that, we should be at that. If you're an agency owner and you can't just wake up and just tell people about how awesome your team is, you need to work on your team. Like,
whoa. So, all right, now you was doing good. You was killing it. Now you finna make the people mad. Hold up.
I'm making people mad, but I'm just telling the truth, man.
Okay, but they're probably gonna argue. Let me think what they would say. But I'm not there yet. I'm not making enough money to hire. I don't know what to delegate out. Oh, that sounds good because you're who you are. I don't know. I'm throwing stuff out there.
Let me tell you something how easy it is, Cameron. I'm going to tell you how easy it is because I have, like I told you, I have dozens of digital agency owners. Okay. And it's I have a client right now who's got 3 VAs basically running his entire agency for him. And basically every excuse that you said there is valid and also a lie. Okay. There's three
Whoa, how
things.
can it be valid and a lie?
Because it's valid, it is their truth at the time, but it's a limiting belief that's actually it is their truth, but it is not the truth. There is
That's fair.
truth, there is absolute truth, and then there is your truth. There's 8 billion, 9 billion versions of the truth on this planet, right?
That's fair.
So here's what I want to tell you. This is a self-limiting belief. It's a lie that we tell ourselves that we actually believe is true. Number one is that no one is ever going to do the job as good as me. Oh my God, agency owners always think that. No one's ever going to do the job as good as me. And you know what? There might be a little bit of truth of that. Let's just say you have one person who does 80% as good as you. Now let's do the math. You have one person who's going to take 10 hours to do what you do in 8. Okay? So how much is your time worth if you're freed up that 8 hours a day and it takes someone else 10, right? But here's the thing. That brings us to the lie number 2, right? Is that I'm not a good delegator. I don't think anyone else can do this. You're doing it anyway. If you're in the agency space, you're not doing anything offline. Everything's online. You open up the Facebook Ads Manager, you got your SOP. No, of course you don't have an SOP. You're an agency owner. You're busy. So here's what you do. You pop on a Zoom call. You bring your VA on the call. And then you do what you normally do. The difference is you hit the record button and you explain to the VA what the hell you're doing. And hello, they make the friggin' SOP afterwards. It's a done deal. You don't even have to make the SOP. You say, watch this video and make an SOP out of it, right? Like even our VAs, we train them. They go through a 4-week training process. They spend 3 days on just how to create SOPs. So like you have no excuse if you have a good VA to have SOPs in your business. All right. Now the third lie, this one's my favorite. I don't have time. I don't have time. All right. This is my favorite one because it's the literal looping problem. I don't have time to make time, right? The reason I don't have time is because I haven't spent the time to free up the time. It's kind of a messed up circle. And honestly, it's very easy to get stuck inside. And that's why, like I said, the same exact problem with the SOPs is solved on Zoom. You just get on a Zoom call and you're going to do the work anyway. So you do have time because when you spend the time working on that thing, you can bring someone in, you can record it. You could even do better. Man, you know what would make my team love you? If you came to me and said, hey, Jeff, I need a VA, I need help. If before you even had the call with our team, you just went on and recorded your day and explained what it was, and you just sent me a video and said, I need a VA to help me with this. Can you help me? We can have an SOP done for you before the call, right? So the only thing really holding you back is your own belief that you don't have time, that no one really is good enough or is going to care enough about your business, and that you're not a good delegator and that you don't have SOPs. Those are the 3 things that, by the way, hold most people back, and they're easily fixable. Very.
What about the people who say, well, Jeff, that sounds like, okay, I get it, but I don't have enough money to do it?
Well, the value problem is something you got to figure out. Absolutely. Like, I will tell you that most people, especially agency owners, the reason why they really struggle with the money, and again, they're going to start hating me for this, is because most agencies can't keep a client more than 3 months.
Oh, so now we're getting on the churn. Okay. Keep going.
They come in, they get a client, they promise the world, 3 months later, it didn't work, and the client bounces. So you got to figure out, and this is one of the reasons why, by the way, I love AI, okay? Because there's never been an easier way to help clients get results than right now with AI, because you can use AI to write really good content that gets way better engagement than most copywriters, most professional copywriters. So you can do better ads. You can do better organic. Even the video editing stuff that's out there with AI is crazy. Even like for me, my marketing guy gets really mad because he wants me to come to my office every day. He's like, yo, come to the studio. even today, he told me, we need you to start recording a bunch of reels in the office. I'm like, dude, I'm not coming to the office and recording reels every day. Like, not my favorite thing to do. So he asked me, he said, hey, why don't you just go and record some sample videos that he can run through HeyGen, which is that AI video platform that basically clones you and then it makes you look like you're talking and stuff. And I was like, sure, whatever. And he just got done doing an offer that made $20,000 in the past week. Okay. And the video sales letter is not even me. It's AI me. And it's funny because he knows my personality. He starts the video out saying, hey, everybody, this is AI Jeff. So he's using that to even sell. So for people that are like, hey, man, I don't have the money. I don't know if I can do that. I want to put this back. And this is why I like that Buy Back Your Time book. Because why don't you have money? Is it because you're busy spending time on fulfillment? Or is it because you don't have time to market your services? I mean, that's really the two things that work. Because if you're spending time on fulfillment trying to keep your clients to stay, or you're not getting enough clients because you suck at marketing and you're not putting enough time there, right? I mean, that's the factors that you have. It's either a problem of, can I generate new income or can I keep the income that I currently have? So another purpose of, again, a VA. It sounds like I didn't come here to sell my VAs, but if you have somebody who's literally doing fulfillment for you, that you trust, that you know can actually help you with your clients so that you can spend your day on marketing, that's the best way. That's the best way. That's what I do. I have my team fulfill, and then I spend my time on marketing. So my question to you is, if you're broke right now, is it because the offer being bad could be another situation, right? Like maybe your offer just sucks, right? But if you're getting clients and you just have a hard time getting those clients through the door, it's usually because you're not spending enough time on marketing, or you're not able to retain clients, and that's why the money's not there. Agree?
Or my favorite, you technically do have the money, you're just spending it in the wrong places, and it needs to be reallocated so that you can pay for things that actually will change the trajectory of your business. But you have the money.
Let me ask you one question. Just
Okay.
let me reframe that.
Okay.
Let me reframe that, because I hear this all the time. Jeff, I can't afford a VA. I hear that all the time. Like if you go through my company, you're going to look at $1,500 to $2,000 for a VA, depending on what type of VA you want. Let's just start with $1,500, because everything that you could do right now for your business, like an AI trained VA, $1,500 a month. All right, $1,500. Let's just stick with that number. All right. Okay. Let's just say that you don't even have you don't even trust the VA to do fulfillment yet. You just want to help them drum up some new leads for you. And let's just say that VA goes into LinkedIn, it goes on Instagram, it goes in, whatever. There's lots of different social media avenues. Let's just say LinkedIn for this example. And all you did was have that VA go on your account for 8 hours a day on LinkedIn and just reaching out to people and getting calls set up. Like, hey, are you currently advertising on LinkedIn, or do you advertise on Facebook? Do you advertise on YouTube? Whatever type of agency you're at, and then send them like a case study or whatever. And let's just say that they send 1,000 messages on LinkedIn. You know the rule, right? The 1% rule. So if you send 1,000 messages out, you're probably going to get 10 people who are interested in booking a call, right? Let's just use the 1% rule again, right? So if you got 10 calls, and even if you did horrible and was only able to close 10% of those calls, that's one client. What is one client worth to you? Probably a lot more than $1,500, right? So if you're charging, let's just say that all you did, I'm cheap, Jeff. I only charge $1,500 a month for my clients. Let's just say, though I've never heard of that, but let's just say that someone charges $1,500 a month for marketing. All that VA would have to do is get you one client that pays for itself. So,
and most people have a higher than 10% closing rate. It's typically between 20 to 40%. So,
and you better believe they're charging more than $1,500. So, there you go. If you get one client, if all you did, let's do worst case scenario. Let's say you charge $2,000 a month, and you can only sell 10% of the calls that you close at 1% of 1,000 connections. you're still making $500 per VA, right?
Which is going to continuously stack over time.
Bingo.
LTV doesn't even talk about your upfront fee or onboarding fee or however you name that. Doesn't include future upsells.
Yep. And the beautiful thing about a VA is that unlike a computer or a watch or a phone or whatever that you got to replace, it becomes dumber, it becomes obsolete, it becomes useless. It's a depreciating asset, as you would say in your tax classifications, right? A human is an appreciating asset. It gets more valuable over time. It's going to know your business. It's going to understand what your clients want. It's going to understand what you want. It's going to learn more about the different systems and different ads. And with AI, they're just so much more powered too. Like right now, I feel like humans are the most powerful they've ever been because they have literally at their keyboard all the information of the world. And it's not just Google where you got to figure things out anymore. Like literally today, let me give you an example of what happened today. I shouldn't say this on this podcast, but I'm going to anyway.
I want you to get in trouble.
I'm going to get in trouble if my team hears this, but I'm going to put it out there. We have a problem on one of my teams, okay? There's a department in my company right now that's losing me money. And the profitability report is, let's just say, not good. Some heads are rolling. We've already had to fire 2 people. There's probably going to be more. And I don't know when this podcast airs, but hopefully by the time they're fired, after they're fired. But basically, there's people that are not producing what they should be, and we found out that there's some lacking work ethic going on, basically, right? And what's interesting was my assistant who prepared the report. She took their time cards, looked at the hours billed to the client, looked at their internal bill. Like there's all these different stats, and she collected them from all these different things and made a dashboard in basically a Google document. And she was stressing out because I said, I want to see what the percentage of internal versus external billing is. I want to see how much money were generated from the external billing per person. I want to see how much I'm paying them on a monthly basis versus how much they're billing my clients. I want to see the profits on what each person's making of me. And she's stressing out. And I said, no, hold on a second. We uploaded it to ChatGPT and it gave an absolute bomb analysis and told us, here's the top performers. Here's the lowest performers. Here's the people that have potential. And these people need immediate attention. Like ChatGPT did her job, right? So the power of what we can do right now with AI is limitless. This is stuff that my assistant was never qualified to do. My assistant's never done any type of forensic audit analysis of what the team's doing. She's never done a marketing email in her life. She's never done a copywriting training. She's never even done a marketing class in school, yet she's created 77 newsletters for my clients because of AI. So this is a really interesting time to build people in your business that are supercharged. And here's one thing that I will tell you is that it's very important. This is why I always say, and it's not just because I own an executive assistant company, okay? The executive assistant is such a valuable, important part of your business because that person grows with you and learns. And the first day you hire them is the most useless they're ever going to be, right? The most useless they're ever going to be because they come into the business, they don't know a whole lot. And every single day they know more and more about you, and you can trust that person. Like my assistant, Jackie, right now, she could run this business if I died tomorrow. That was a lot to digest.
As an executive assistant, I can agree with this. So, all right, wait. So we focused on that. We got to get to the marketing side because that's where a lot of the newer things are happening. So, okay. Let's do the quick recap for VA. So, no, because you kind of combined it. Just know that saying you don't have any time or no money is not an excuse. You should have one. I myself have one. And to your point, they've drastically helped. They've done a lot of cleanup on the back end and getting systems reorganized and building the SOP. So, yes. Now, switching to the marketing side. Even though we're going in the same direction, it's still different because now you're getting into more, like you said, the copy pieces. Do you guys do SEO on websites?
We do some funnel building. I mean, we do a little bit of websites, a little bit of funnel building. We don't really do SEO. Most of what we do is totally organic, social media. And
Okay.
yeah, so
All right, so now break this down. So now we're building company two. You have the ability to leverage company one's employees to kind of help speed this up a little bit more.
right.
We got some runway now because we're not leaving the 150 and going to negative. We now have some, leeway, a little more money in the bank. Now, how do we? You mentioned at the beginning about I hit my first $1 million. Before you even get there, first $10 million took you how long to make with the marketing agency side?
Man, it
Because a
took
lot of people would say copy's different, right? It's not as clean cut. I've seen some people like, hey, it'll be $3,000 for 2 posts a week. That'll be 8 posts for $3,000. So pricing is different.
I
How to show value is different. So how long does it take you to make the first 10K?
so the first 10K, right? Now we're talking just not net, we're just talking sales generated 10K a month. Okay.
Yeah, so the first month where you hit, so we're on business two, marketing agency. Oh man, I made 10 grand in this business finally. How long did
Well,
that take you to
no,
get there?
let's circle back to business one. It took me from when I was working at Philips, and it was a side hustle in 2014. I landed my first big client in 2015, and they were paying me, just that one client was paying me like 8 or 10,000 a month. But my expenses, see, this is the thing about owning a staffing agency. All right. And a lot of marketers get mixed up in this too with agencies, especially when you're hiring people to do stuff for you, fulfillment, right? My profit margins are 35%, sometimes lower. Okay. One, because I wanted to win the contract. So I under really sold myself than I should have. And I was desperate back then. I didn't know. I didn't have a brand. I didn't have the power. I found out when I left Philips that the only brand authority that I had was that little Philips on my name badge. So when I left Philips and I was my own entrepreneur, I had no brand authority at all. No one knew who I was. I wasn't even the Savage Marketer till 2019. That's when I launched that. Okay. So I went from 2014 to 2019, 5 years of really just not even having a strong brand. 2018, I started to take my brand more seriously. And in 2019 is when I acquired this brand, Savage Marketer, and just went all in on it. So it took me about 4 years to reach my first $1 million year. And that was really a challenge. I mean, going from 0 to 10K seemed okay, but see, the profit margin wasn't there, right? So I'm only making $2,000-$3,000 a month and on 10K, which sucks, right? And so what I would recommend to people is to really look at how can you scale. And see, I didn't have AI back then. I didn't have AI. You can scale so much bigger with so much less people with AI right now. Like, this is nutty. Like, one person, I'll give you an example. You want to talk about cost. So when I started my marketing agency, I had 5 copywriters that wrote social media content, emails, websites, all that kind of stuff. I was paying them $500 a page to write copy. I was getting charged $150 per email. I have created an AI persona, okay, which is basically a hyper-personalized AI employee that I've trained to become a copywriter with my own copywriting style. And that AI persona can do all of those jobs. Now, it still requires someone to operate it who understands copy. So I have one copywriter on my team. Well, I have 2, but one person who's dedicated to just this. And she does the work of all 5 of the copywriters that I used to do in the past, and way faster because of AI. You do not have to stress too much anymore with AI, especially in marketing, because marketing is one of the easiest things to do with AI. It's just easy. I just want to give 3 things this is another value bomb. Here's
Go
3 things you can use. Here's 3 things if you're a struggling agency owner to make money. If you're struggling on making money, let me give you 3 things you could do right now to just do what we call a cash injection campaign. Okay. Number 1, how many clients do you think email their list enough? No one. I've never heard someone who says, you know what, I email my people every day. No one does, right? You can go in there. You can pitch the idea of an awesome email campaign, a nurture sequence, right, to whatever they're already offering. So it doesn't require a whole lot of work on the back end for your client either. Boom, charge $1,000. AI can do that in 10 minutes. Okay. Number 2, you can do a serious overhaul of your own internal. Okay. I want you to think about how this is going to work, about how your content is being made or not made, which is even worse, right? You can start generating copy fast for your own business, for your own personal brand. Even if you have an audience on Facebook, you can start writing what I call authority viral content. So you have long form content. We've been friends on Facebook for a while. You see the type of stuff I write. This is authority style content where it establishes your authority and has a lot of value, showing people how to do something. And the point of the post is to make people say, can you help me with that? Okay. So you're turning yourself, your own self, into a lead generation tool. You can start making money right now from your own content. Okay. Number 3 is you can use AI to help people make their offers better or build an offer, not only just for yourself, but for other people. So earlier I talked about how I'm working on my Black Friday deal. But what if I told you that ironically my Black Friday deal is to help other people with their Black Friday deals? That's what I'm going to be doing. So me and my marketing guy is actually going to be going out to people, and these are people that already have established audiences. So find people that have 50, 100,000 followers, people that already have 20, 30,000 people on their email list that you know you could sell easily, and offer them a deal they can't refuse. You charge them a small setup fee and a commission on sales to set up their own Black Friday deal. So right there's 3 ways you can start making money with AI, because the AI is doing everything. It's doing the sales page, it's doing the emails, it's doing the follow-up, it's doing the abandoned cart emails, it's doing the social post for the campaign, and it's just awesome. And you don't have to hire a single person to do that. It's just you and ChatGPT, or my favorite, Claude.
I was just about to say, which one are you rocking with, ChatGPT or Claude? But you just answered it. Okay, let's do it this way. Why is Claude, in your opinion, better than ChatGPT?
It's not even an opinion; it's a fact. Claude just has more data. You can load so much data into Claude, and see, the important thing to know about AI models. Okay, you don't have to. The cool part about AI today is that it's to the point now to where you don't have to be a tech nerd like me. You don't have to have a background in IT. All you have to know, it's so funny when I hear people talk about prompt engineering, like, so you know how to chat with ChatGPT. Now you're an engineer. Come on, right? All you got to have is communication skills. Can you ask it instructions and can you train it right? That's it. Just like a human. So in Claude, you can give it, like, for example, the way that I'm getting viral content from my Claude really good, and I cannot simulate this, I cannot get the same results from ChatGPT, is because I'm giving Claude over 100 of my most viral social media posts of all time. And then I'm having it analyze that and really imitate my writing style. I can have it write on any topic that way. Okay. And by the way, it's very simple and very fast to do this. Okay. Like, I have a training program inside my AI persona method program. It's only a 60-minute video, and I give them the data set, and they can do it in 2 prompts. It's like literally analyze this data and imitate my writing style, and then write a post about whatever. And it comes back, and I've never had a person not have their minds completely blown afterwards. So you can do this very quickly. All right. So ChatGPT versus Claude, real quick mesh up. Claude allows you to import over 200,000 tokens, which is like, let's say 100,000 words, versus ChatGPT, which is still at about 8,000. Okay. So that's the huge disparity, is that you can't give ChatGPT enough to analyze. And I also think, I'm just going to throw this out there, might be a conspiracy theory, but in my experience, I've seen it. I feel like ChatGPT is getting dumber. I feel like ChatGPT is holding back like the really good stuff for their enterprise clients, and that they're not really giving us the public, the $20 a month subscription. I don't think they're giving us the best that they have, because every time they've updated it, it feels like it gets dumber.
And this is somebody who gets paid to teach on AI. So I would take that very serious, right?
Guys, this is my first year as a quote unquote AI consultant. And I made, just in the past year, $282,000 doing AI consulting. And I've never been a consultant before in my life. It's very easy. It's very fun. I'm going to leave you guys with a couple stats. Number one, did you know that only 3.8% of businesses right now in America, based on the last census that was performed, I think it was like December of last year, only 3.8% of businesses use AI, and that by the end of 2024, they believe it's going to go up to, get ready for it, 6.4%. Okay? So that means that even if you use 6.4%, let's round it up to 7, that means that 93% of businesses in America in 2024, going into 2025, will not use AI. Okay? So think about all the businesses right now that you could just sell them how to actually use AI to help them. So that's all I've been doing. I've just been teaching businesses how to integrate AI into their businesses, and they love it. And the cool part about it, unlike traditional consulting, where you have to like go into the business and figure out what's wrong and give them a whole list of things that need to be worked on, and then you don't want to do the work and they don't want to do the work. Now you can get on a call with them and you can literally build a solution with AI right there on the call, so they get instant results. We've never had the ability to give someone instant results like the way we do with AI right now.
Do you think that would translate to other industries? I know it's super heavy in marketing, but like, would that be able, for example, in my case, to hit accounting or finance, or is it a lot different because of the personal information and data and those things?
It's already happening. So I have a couple people in the accounting world that do CPA, they're, what do you call that, registered agents or whatever. And right now they're actually pivoting and changing their company, because they used to be an accounting company, but now there's AI tools that are doing all the accounting and bookkeeping. So now they've changed and pivoted to a tax accounting strategy company. And then they're offering the bookkeeping for free because they're using AI to do it, which they used to have a very expensive person who did all that, humans, right? So like now they're using it as a value add. Hey, sign up with us. We do your tax planning. By the way, we'll do all your bookkeeping for free, right? So there's already shifts like that. You're going to see it. I mean, Amazon leaked a memo or something. I don't know if this is true or not, but even if it's not true, it's interesting to think. Because you've seen the videos of like the Amazon robots in their factories and stuff, but like supposedly they are already on track for ordering like 729,000 robots to almost replace their humans. I don't know how many humans they have in factories around America, but 729,000 robots should probably do the trick.
Like iRobot, but in 2024.
Right. I mean, if we're going to have a rise up one day, it's going to be all those Amazon robots that are tired of being our slaves for all these years.
iRobot, that's crazy. They prepared us for this way back then. Okay. Man, how much more time do you have? Because we got so much more to talk about.
I'm sorry. I know I did a lot there.
How much more time you got?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm still good.
Okay, now I got to sort through the right questions to ask. Okay. Top 3 things you would tell an agency to do to hit $1 million.
All right. Well, to hit $1 million, the easiest way is to work on that magic 2 words that most people want, but really don't understand the formula of success to keep it, which is recurring revenue. So for me, I have a guaranteed amount of recurring revenue because all my clients are paying every month for their executive assistant. And most of my clients, honestly, couldn't live. without their executive assistant. The biggest problem that I have in my agency is clients who get too comfortable with their assistant and try to poach, which is why I have a $10,000 anti-poaching fee. All right. So I shouldn't call it the anti-poaching fee. I think I call it something else, a replacement fee.
It's a poaching fee. If you want them, you got to pay me 10 bands. I got you.
Yeah. It definitely says in there that, anti-poaching, if you want the VA, it's 10 bands, like you said. So my greatest advice, and I don't even think it needs to be 2 or 3 things, because it really comes down to, I believe, the goal is the recurring revenue. Because what's really tough, honestly, it's actually really easy to make $1 million. It's really hard to keep $1 million, right? So if you make $1 million, you can actually be super scrappy to $1 million and not even have a team like today. You could totally do that. Okay. You could sell $10,000, $20,000 things, let's do the math. I've done my calculator. You're the math guy, but let's just say you sell a $25,000 package, right? So what's $1 million? I'm going to take $1 million, divide that by 25,000. So
you
40.
At 25,000, that's $100,000 a month. It's 12 months in a year.
Right. So if you're selling, if you want $1 million, yeah. So if you got $1 million, divide that by 12, that's 83. Let's divide that by 10 clients. So if you got 10 clients that are paying you $8,300 a month, you only need 10 clients, right? But let's do the math. Most people aren't paying $8,000 a month, right? So they're going to have to do something else. Like, let's just say if you've got $1 million that you want to do, and you're a recurring revenue business, which you should, by the way, because you're smart. Okay. You have $1 million, and let's just say your average client is going to pay you $2,500, which I'd say is probably around what most people charge. You're going to have 400 clients, my guy. Well, hold on a second. Hold on. We got to divide that by 12. Hold on. 33. 33. Okay. You got to have 33 clients to pay you $2,500 a month for 12 months. You're going to have 33 clients. So can we have a reality check for a second? Are you going to be the person who's physically responsible for 33 clients? Could you handle 33 clients a month? Right? Let's be realistic here. The path to $1 million, right? So how do you figure this out? Let's figure this out. What can you actually support right now, the revenue? Because what happens is most people don't plan for the future. They're reactive. It's not until stuff starts falling apart where they want to start hiring someone. And then they hire someone out of desperation. And it's usually the wrong person. Okay? So what you need to do now is prepare yourself. Do you have that process in place to support 30 clients? Right? So this is where the advice comes into play. Number one, you have to have recurring revenue so that you don't have to keep chasing clients. But that also means to keep the recurring revenue, you have to have excellent fulfillment on these clients. Okay? And again, I truly, genuinely believe, not just because I have an AI consulting program, that the easiest way to add revenue to your business right now is to just add AI as an offer. Just add AI on top of what you're doing right now. Because they have 2 choices, and you can even sell it this way, because a lot of your clients, if you already have clients right now, they probably wouldn't spend an extra $2,000 for a copywriter, right? But they might spend $2,000 right now to get on a call with you and build out a copywriter that works for them for free. See what I'm saying? So instead of $2,000 a month, you can charge them a one-time $2,000 to pop on a call. By the way, I charge $3,000 for a call to set up a copywriter for somebody, right? So you can look at that LTV. It's always in the LTV. How can you add more value to your existing clients? Evaluate what you've got right now to your clients and how you can just add more value. It's not just sucking their money away, but truly giving them something that can give them ROI. And I feel like that's a huge factor that most agencies struggle with right now, is showing that ROI. And obviously, if I'm paying you $2,500 a month and you're spending $1,000, $2,000, let's just say $2,500 in ad spend so that we can keep an even $5,000. That means that I would expect you to be able to drive at least $5,000 of revenue into the business. Is that fair to say? That if I'm paying $5,000 between you and the ads, that you get me $5,000 back? And then be realistic with yourselves. Are you driving $5,000 back? If not, there's the answer to your churn rate. Your churn rate's high because you're not giving the ROI.
He like really trying to walk y'all through like a little short master class. He like answering a question and then giving you like extra bonus points on top of it. So he done gave you a whole new revenue stream, a way to add it into a call so you can do it as a one-off, a way to upsell it across the. I mean, like, okay. All right, I'm gonna try to let's go rapid fire so we can wrap this up because I'm sure he got to go save the day. All right, 30 seconds each question. If you could go back in time knowing every single thing you know right now to your high school or college self, you got 30 seconds. What are you going to tell them?
I would have worked on my personal brand sooner. I would have worked on my personal brand sooner because I was a nobody and I had no brand authority. So nobody trusted me. Nobody liked me. Right now, I can absolutely go out to the front yard, pick up a piece of dog crap, put a bow on it, and I guarantee you someone in my audience would buy it just because of me. Now, of course, I would never sell that crap to them, but the bar is so much easier to achieve. You don't have to have like some crazy ass offer if people just like you and trust you. And I don't feel people are really spending the time that they should marketing themselves.
All right. 2 or 3 things that you would say contribute to your success that you do on a consistent basis.
1, create copy. I'm always marketing myself. Number 2 is putting myself around the right people, just like how I met you on that boat and sitting at that table taking notes with your wife, which I love that, by the way. And number 3 is just, you have to also understand that there's a specific type of personality that you must attain as an entrepreneur, which unfortunately I had learned the hard way, which is you have to be very careful with your hires. You have to be very careful with your hires, and you can't hire people because you like them. You have to hire people because of 3 main reasons. These are my core values of my company. Number 1, because they're adaptable. Can they learn new things quickly that you throw at them? Number 2, do they have strong work ethic? And 3, do they actually give a damn about you and what they do? And if they don't possess those 3, interesting enough, you can't teach anybody those 3 things. You notice that? But I did notice that if they possess these 3 things, you could teach them anything.
Okay. What has being a business owner taught you about yourself? Because you were making the 150, but you said no, they didn't value me. So what have you learned on this journey about yourself?
Man, I learned a lot about myself. I'm literally a different person. Yesterday I had lunch with a friend who was the best man at my wedding, and he remembers me as the computer nerd Jeff. And, he wanted to go for a ride in my Corvette, and he was just like completely blown away with what I'm doing. And he was talking about how, I can't believe that where I grew up at, which is a crappy little bodunk town that me and him, grew up in together. There's really not a whole lot of success stories. And I think that you have to change your mindset and be around people that push you and make you grow. And that's the thing that I've learned as a business owner, is that I've learned that the best way to get results for me is to help the people that I'm working with get results for themselves. I'm job crafting. I'm making sure that everybody is happy with what they're doing. And if they're not, it doesn't serve me and it doesn't serve them, and they got to go. So I'd also say you have to learn how to be less nice.
All right, go home question. Best way you've learned how to balance, if we're going to say that's a thing, running these 2 companies plus still spending time with Bay and the kids?
So I try to integrate them as much as I can. I don't know if the word balance is the right word, only because it's kind of like you have to kind of be extreme as a business owner. Sometimes, there's days where, you just don't see the sunshine because you're working on something. But then I brought my family to Cancun with us, right? And, we're trying to constantly put myself in places. To be honest, that's probably one of the things that I have to work on better. The relationship with my wife and I, not the greatest right now. And that's one of the things that is a challenge, I think, for most entrepreneurs. Most entrepreneurs I know, they've been through 2 or 3 wives, same with, it's even harder, I think, for women entrepreneurs, just because of the dynamics in the relationship and kind of that, like I said, that temperament of being a business owner and entrepreneur. You kind of have to be an asshole, and to be successful, you kind of have to have like rhino skin would be probably a better way of saying it. So like for me, when I come home, I've been battling all day, and the last thing I want to do is come home to a battle with my wife. And a lot of times that is what it is. So I would say that balance is something that is, I don't know if that's true, but I do know that it's very important to spend time and block out time. As entrepreneurs, okay, here's something valuable I can say. As an entrepreneur, my family knows that my most valuable thing is time. So when I block out time for them, it makes them feel valuable. There it is. So it's very important that you block out time with your loved ones to make sure that they feel valuable. Just like yesterday, I went and played 2.5 hours. I went and played basketball with my son in the middle of the day, which is a beautiful thing to do as an entrepreneur. Like, you can't do that if you have a W-2 job. I couldn't just, hey, you know what? It's only 87 degrees today, Jesse. That's my son. He just turned 12. Let's go play some basketball. Okay, Dad, at 2:00 in the afternoon, right? So like, that's one of the things you have as a business owner, an advantage over everyone. As a matter of fact, there's lots of days where I'm like, wow, today's a beautiful day. I wonder if somebody wants to do something with me. And I'm like, oh my God, all the rest of my friends have real jobs and they can't. So eat that up. And make sure, by the way, to put that in, like, don't punch it in their face, but you better make sure to give them subtle reminders of how good their life is because of what you do. And I'm telling you this because it's very easy to have spoiled family. My family's very spoiled in where we're at right now. Okay.
Man, yes.
They have no clue how good their life is. I saw my 2 kids riding first class to Cancun, and not, it's like their first trip ever. And, my son's like, Daddy, are we rich? Like, I don't want to lose that innocence. I want them to feel grateful. There it is.
That's a mic drop moment. All right. Well, this is the end. Tell the people, if they're like, man, this dude is dope, how can we make ourselves connect? How can I reach out to him for VA or for the AI training, or how can he help me get that into my business?
If you are struggling and you're like, you know what, man, he's probably right. I should get a VA. I've been putting it off. Or maybe the thing is too, a lot of times people tried hiring a VA, but they hire a VA from like an online jobs or a Fiverr or some sort of freelancer. And that's, by the way, the recipe for success is not a freelancer. It's someone who's dedicated to you. So what we do is we actually hire people that are in call center jobs that have employee mindsets, and we train them to become executive assistants. So they're dedicated and loyal. If you're ready for something like that and you're like, yeah, I'm holding myself back. I am my own secretary. I do not have the freedom of my business that I know I should do. If you know that you're doing tasks every day you shouldn't be doing, VAstaffer.com, virtual assistant staffer, VAstaffer.com. And then if you want to learn about AI and potentially adding AI as a service, I actually have a Facebook group. It's free. It's called AI for Business. You can drop the link for them. It's just if you go on Facebook and type AI for Business, you'll probably see a picture of me. It's orange and black or whatever, but we'll have the link for you guys. And there's a little email thing. When you join the group, it'll ask for your email address to get on my newsletter, which basically drops all sorts of. You're gonna like this. So my newsletter is called Savage Marketer, and the subset for that group is called Just the Tip. So it's a daily tip, just a tip that you guys can do. So whether you want to go all in and learn AI or you just want the tip, you just put your email in there and they'll send you some juicy tips, how to do AI, how to do marketing, and yes, sexual innuendo included.
I wasn't going to say it. All right, so let's recap. This was a ton of stuff. Let's go super fast. Jeff, 2 companies, was working in regular, just like everybody else in IT, but transitioned into not only a VA staffing company, but when, this is super key, y'all, when he created Business 2, the first one was something that could indirectly or directly help business number 2. So it was okay for him to do both at the same time because they could support each other.
And they serve the same clients. That's the important part too.
And that. Then he talked about how does he manage that team? How did he make it more self-sustaining to where he could only work 15 minutes a day? He could do more, but he can't just do the 15. He talked about splitting them into groups and putting people over each one so only the direct reports report to him. He talked about incentives in order to keep retention. So we want you guys to give them the best service because you get paid more as a team, and that helps us to retain. He talked about no time and no money is never an excuse. You have to figure out a way to make it ROI positive for you. He talked about in 4 years, he got to the $1 million mark. But what's most important is not just making it, it's keeping it. He talked about 3 quick tips on how to make it to where you can get a cash infusion. So he talked about the awesome email campaign, the serious overhaul of internal brand, and using AI to make your offer better. He talked about how by the end of 2024, at best, only 7% of business owners will be using AI. So this is the time to get on the wave so that you're on the front end and not getting replaced. He gave us 3 things to hit $1 million. He talked about it's easy to make $1 million, which I know some of y'all will be mad, but it's harder to keep it. So there was a ton of stuff in here. So y'all, please go back, listen to this episode, chop it up, share it with somebody, tag somebody who's kind of curious or they're on the fence about AI. Use this as that thing to say, look, this guy's speaking about it. He's making money traveling, coaching people on it. You got to get on the wave now. Reach out to him. Best platform is Facebook or LinkedIn?
Yeah, Facebook. Well, my Facebook's full because my friends, I don't know why they have a 5,000 friend list. I don't get it. But my Facebook group is where everybody can find me, and also LinkedIn. Just Jeff J. Hunter on LinkedIn. I think I still got like 20,000 friends I can add on there. So
there you go. So with all that being said, man, Jeff, thank you so much for coming through and blessing us with all the knowledge. Guys, until the next episode, we told you we're dedicated in getting the best, the brightest people that are already doing it at a high level, but are just coming back to share their journey and just here to help you and encourage you on like, don't make these mistakes. Try this, do that, so that you guys can get there too. So with all that being said, guys, until the next episode, we'll talk to you again. See ya.